Welcome, friends. Today let's talk about something that we've all faced: clutter. As we get older, we often find ourselves with more things around the house, maybe accumulated over the years, and sometimes it can get overwhelming. But don't worry, I'm here to help you transform your living space into a calm, tidy haven. So, sit back, relax, and let's go over 12 things that may be making your home look cluttered, plus simple solutions to fix them. Stick with me, and I promise you'll love the results. 1. Too many piled up paperwork, the paper trail that follows us around like a shadow. It starts innocently enough with a few important papers you keep for safekeeping, but soon it turns into stacks and stacks of paperwork: bills, insurance forms, old tax documents, medical records, greeting cards, and even junk mail. Before long, your countertops and side tables are overrun with a mountain of paper that can make your home feel chaotic and disorganized. If you're anything like me, you don't want to deal with it immediately, so it gets pushed to the back of the closet, the bottom of a drawer, or buried under something else. And then it just grows, creating unnecessary clutter and mental stress. Besides, papers tend to collect dust, which can further add to a sense of disorder. The fix. First, take a moment to breathe and remind yourself that this can be fixed in manageable chunks. Begin by going through the piles one area at a time. Start with the top surface, such as your kitchen table or desk. Any junk mail, catalogs, or outdated information, toss it out. Next, create a simple filing system. Buy a filing cabinet, or if space is limited, use portable file boxes. Divide your important papers by category: medical bills, receipts, legal documents, and more. Make sure to add labels so everything has a clear place. A little organization can go a long way in preventing more paper piles from cropping up. Another game changer is embracing digital storage. The great thing about scanning documents is that it frees up physical space while keeping everything easily accessible. Apps like Adobe Scan or Google Drive allow you to create a virtual filing cabinet in your phone or computer. This way, you don't have to worry about losing an important piece of paper again. Unused appliances. Sitting out now, let's talk about the kitchen and all the wonderful appliances we've collected over the years. At one time, these items were a lifesaver. Maybe that bread maker helped you bake fresh bread for breakfast, or the slow cooker saved you hours of preparation for family meals. But over time, our once-loved appliances gathered dust in the corners of our kitchen counters. What happens? Well, when they're left out, they take up valuable space and add to the feeling that there's too much going on in the room. You can't focus on the things you use daily, like your coffee maker or blender, because there's a random electric can opener, rice cooker, or juicer crowding the counter. Plus, after not being used for months, they're more likely to gather crumbs and be harder to clean. The fix. Start by assessing each appliance in your kitchen. Is it something you use often, or has it simply become a part of the "what if I need it one day" collection? If it's something you haven't used in months, it's time to rethink whether it should stay. If an appliance is taking up space, but you're unlikely to use it anytime soon, store it out of sight. Invest in some kitchen cabinets or pull-out drawers where you can keep them tucked away but still easily accessible. Also, be ruthless with your decision-making. There's no need to keep things just because you think you should. Consider donating items you no longer find useful, or if they're in good condition, sell them. You'll be amazed at how much more pleasant it is to walk into a kitchen with open counter space. Plus, you'll have room to showcase the items you really need, like your favorite cooking gadgets, and you'll find the task of meal prep that much more enjoyable when things are organized. 3. Excessive knickknacks and trinkets. It's easy to get attached to those little trinkets you've picked up on vacations, received as gifts, or inherited from loved ones over the years. Each item is special for different reasons: a memory of your travels, a token from an anniversary, or a cherished gift that means the world to you. But when they start taking over every shelf, nook, and cranny in your home, it can make your living space feel more like a museum than a place of relaxation. Too many knickknacks create visual clutter, and every item demands your attention, whether you intend to look at it or not. When scattered across multiple surfaces, this excess decoration can distract you from the true beauty of the space. Rather than feeling like a sanctuary, your home can become filled with overwhelming amounts of objects competing for space. The fix. Begin by choosing your favorite, most sentimental pieces to display, those that bring you joy every time you see them. When it comes to the rest of the collection, ask yourself, does this add value to my home? If you're holding on to something just because it has sentimental value, but it doesn't bring you joy, it might be time to part with it. Rather than placing trinkets all over, think of curating a special shelf or display area where you can show off the items that mean the most. Less really is more when it comes to decor. You'll start to feel lighter and more at peace in your home when there's less competing for your attention. And don't forget, fewer items can also make your space feel larger and less cluttered, both visually and mentally. When you're done, donate the items that still have value to others, whether that's a charity or friends and family. And you'll be surprised at how great it feels to simplify. It'll also make it much easier to clean. 4. Overcrowded closets can easily become a haven for clutter if we don't regularly go through them. Over time, we often end up holding on to clothes that no longer fit, don't match our current style, or that we've simply outgrown. These items can take up valuable space, making our closet look overcrowded, difficult to navigate, and yes, more cluttered. And let's be honest, a messy closet can cause stress. It's hard to find what you need, and even harder to put outfits together when things are buried under heaps of unused clothes. A stuffed closet also means it can be harder to store the things you actually need. Extra blankets, shoes, or purses might end up shoved in on top of old sweaters, which only further crams everything in there. The fix. First, start by taking everything out of your closet and giving it a thorough once-over. Is there anything that you haven't worn in the last 6 months or don't plan to wear again? If it's no longer practical for your lifestyle, let it go. Consider donating items that are in good condition to charity or a local thrift store. Don't hang on to clothes just in case. If they haven't served you in years, it's okay to part with them. One effective approach is to go through your closet by season, so you're addressing only the relevant items. For example, in winter, focus on coats, scarves, and boots, and save your summer clothing for a later date. This keeps things manageable. Organize the clothes you decide to keep. For ease of access, hang up your favorite pieces, but consider folding seasonal or seldom-used items to save space. You could also try using vacuum-sealed bags for items you're not wearing often to free up closet space for things you use more frequently. By periodically cleaning out your closet, you make it easier to maintain a tidy space and feel more in control of your wardrobe. Plus, shopping for a few new outfits you truly enjoy wearing can be a fun way to update your collection and refresh your personal style. 5. Bins and baskets of unorganized stuff. How often have you found yourself tossing random items, perhaps spare batteries, old receipts, a broken pen, into a basket or bin to get them out of the way? Over time, these unorganized containers overflow, and rather than being a storage solution, they turn into the cause of clutter themselves. What was meant to tidy things up only adds more chaos because you never know what's in each bin, and finding anything becomes a challenge. You might have to dig through a dozen random containers just to find a single missing item. The result? You've created a hidden clutter problem. The bins may look tidy on the outside, but inside, they're filled with things you no longer need or can't even find, which defeats the whole purpose of organization. The fix. Start by pulling everything out of these baskets or bins and taking inventory. Make sure you're not holding on to things that should have been discarded. Check if the items really belong in that bin to begin with. If not, move them where they should go. Next, invest in clear, labeled containers. It might sound basic, but labeling bins helps keep everything organized in a way that makes sense to you. You'll quickly be able to tell what's inside without opening it. For example, use a bin for extra pens, one for sewing supplies, another for spare keys, whatever makes sense for your daily life. If you're really short on space, you can also use dividers within the bins to create compartments for smaller items. Once you're done, go back and decide whether you still need to store those items. You may find some of them are no longer necessary, freeing up even more space. It's important to routinely revisit your bins to ensure they stay tidy. Set a reminder once every few months to go through the contents and make sure they're still serving their intended purpose. Too many throw pillows and blankets. We've all been there. At some point, we've probably overdone the throw pillows and blankets. You might have a sofa piled high with cushions in every shape and color, and an entire section of the living room with more blankets than you could ever possibly use. As cozy as it may feel, an overabundance of pillows and blankets can quickly make a room look more cluttered than comforting. There's simply no space to sit down without having to push pillows to the side first, and those blankets. Sure, they're soft and warm, but when they're stacked high or scattered across furniture, they can create a sense of disorder. Plus, constantly pulling them from under the pile or folding them back up can start to feel like an extra chore you didn't sign up for. The fix: consider simplifying your sofa setup. Simplifying. Limit yourself to just a few throw pillows. Ideally, select a matching set in complementary colors to keep the space streamlined and stylish. Too many pillows, no matter how beautiful, tend to make things feel overcrowded. When it comes to blankets, try to store them in a decorative storage basket or tucked into a stylish throw bin. If you need a few available for use, fold them neatly and place them in a single accessible location so you can grab them easily when the weather gets chilly. If you love the look of multiple throws, consider limiting them to a few strategically placed around the room. Just make sure they're neatly folded or rolled up instead of being left in heaps. With everything in its place, your living space will feel more spacious, comfortable, and polished. 7. Outdated or overused furniture. Our furniture can be one of the most noticeable things that make a home feel cluttered. Over time, chairs and sofas start to sag, tables become wobbly, and color schemes can feel outdated. Perhaps you still have that old armchair you've had for years. It holds sentimental value, but it's starting to show signs of wear and tear, with stains or fading fabric. These pieces, even if comfortable, can disrupt the flow of a room and make it feel cramped or cluttered, especially when they don't match your current lifestyle or the updated decor. What happens is that instead of enhancing your home, these worn-out pieces begin to draw attention for all the wrong reasons. You can start feeling like you're constantly trying to hide a piece of old furniture or awkwardly work around it. The fix: it's time to assess each piece of furniture with fresh eyes. Ask yourself, does this chair, couch, or table still bring joy or serve its purpose? Does it match the style of your space now, or does it look out of place? If it's an essential piece you still love, think about reupholstering it to give it a new life. Replacing outdated cushions or changing the fabric can make a world of difference. Alternatively, if a particular piece has lost its function, it might be time for an upgrade. You don't need to buy expensive new furniture to transform a room. Even swapping out one or two key pieces can make it feel more cohesive and modern. Also, remember that you don't need to furnish your home with every piece you've collected over the years. A minimalist approach might be a good move. Focus on fewer pieces of furniture that fit your lifestyle and that also complement each other in terms of color and functionality. 8. Broken or unused items. Lurking in storage spaces, when we have broken or unused items shoved into our closets, basements, or garages, they tend to become invisible clutter. We might not see these things every day, but they take up precious space and add to the overall sense of disarray. Maybe it's a broken coffee maker that you meant to fix, but never did, an old printer that's no longer in use, or unused holiday decorations gathering dust. Storing items you no longer need not only creates unnecessary space clutter, but can also become a mental burden. Those "I should deal with that someday" thoughts tend to weigh heavily. Even with the best of intentions, hoarding old, unused, or broken things can keep your home from feeling light and organized. Over time, these things accumulate and can ultimately become an overwhelming task to go through. The fix. Begin by dedicating some time to going through your storage spaces, attics, closets, basements, sheds, and garages, and identifying any broken or outdated items. Ask yourself, will you ever really use that broken blender? Is there any real purpose to keeping those old furniture pieces you haven't used in years? The goal is to get rid of things that serve no function in your current life. Don't be afraid to let go of items that you might be holding on to for sentimental reasons, as tough as it can be. Consider donating things that are still in decent condition or recycling items that are beyond repair. Anything that's truly useless or beyond saving can be disposed of. Once you've reduced the clutter, take advantage of clever storage solutions, such as clear bins or labeled boxes, to keep things in order. With these small changes, your storage areas will feel much cleaner and you'll have more room for items that are truly valuable. 9. Excessive decorative or statement. Items decorative accessories are a lovely way to personalize your home, but there's a point where they can become overwhelming. It's easy to get carried away with the idea that more is better, especially if you're tempted by colorful vases, intricate figurines, or decorative plates that catch your eye. What you might not realize is that a room packed with too many statement pieces can disrupt the overall harmony of the space, making it feel visually cluttered rather than elegant. Every object in a room fights for attention, and your eye doesn't know where to land. Even if all the pieces are beautiful individually, they can overwhelm the room when grouped together in excess. Rather than looking calm and curated, the room starts to look like it's cluttered with stuff, making it difficult to relax. The fix. Take a moment to step back and observe your decor. Are your shelves filled with items just because you love them, even if they no longer serve the aesthetic of the room? Start by removing a few items to give more space for others to stand out. Think of it as editing. Often, less is more when it comes to decor. Consider only keeping pieces that you absolutely love and those that elevate your space. Try grouping similar objects together to create visual appeal while maintaining some open spaces. Remember that focal points are more effective when you're able to give each piece room to breathe. You could also go with a more cohesive theme or color scheme to avoid a scattered look. With fewer but thoughtfully chosen items, your space will feel curated and relaxing rather than overwhelmed with too much going on. 10. Piles of paper and mail. Everywhere. One of the quickest ways clutter accumulates is through piles of paper, whether it's mail, bills, receipts, or paperwork you haven't sorted through yet. These piles can quickly overflow onto countertops, tables, or even the floor, creating an overwhelming sense of chaos. The problem is, not only do paper piles take up valuable space, but they can also make your home feel less organized and add stress as you try to figure out where everything belongs. It can seem like a never-ending battle too, especially when you're waiting on documents, catalogs, or newsletters. The larger the paper mountain grows, the more daunting it becomes to tackle, which leads to procrastination. The fix. Start by dedicating a specific area for sorting mail as soon as you get it, whether it's a designated drawer or a box. Set aside time weekly to deal with your papers and remove things that have been sorted through. If you have a lot of mail with bills or important documents, consider setting up a filing system. This might mean adding labeled folders or files for each category, such as bills, tax documents, and personal correspondence. For items you don't need to keep, like junk mail or catalogs, get into the habit of tossing or recycling them right away. One great idea is setting up a digital scanning system where you can quickly convert important documents into digital files. This helps you declutter and keep everything organized without cluttering your home with paper. Once your paper situation is under control, commit to going through your mail and documents as soon as they come in rather than letting them build up. A simple routine like this will keep your home feeling organized and tidy. 11. Too many family photos or memorabilia on display. It's natural to want to surround ourselves with precious memories, but there can come a point when too many family photos or mementos crowd our spaces. walls, shelves, and surfaces can easily start feeling more like a museum of personal history, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just that there is such a thing as too much. When you have too many photographs or collectible items on display, your home may look more cluttered than nostalgic. Also, as we accumulate new memories, old photographs can sometimes be left unnoticed, creating a sense of disorganization. You may find yourself constantly dusting off framed pictures or feeling like you don't have enough space for the more recent special moments. The fix. Consider rotating your photographs, artwork, and memorabilia. Rather than keeping everything on display, select a few of your favorites to showcase, while others can be stored in a photo album or kept in a digital archive. This way, you can appreciate the memories without feeling overwhelmed by them. Display these items thoughtfully. Choose a few frames with a consistent style or matching colors that complement your home's decor. Perhaps create a family photo wall or curate a set of artwork that tells the story of your life over time without overwhelming your walls. You can also organize the memorabilia in a display case or shadow box rather than leaving it scattered around. Limiting the amount of memorabilia and finding clean, thoughtful ways to display meaningful memories will help keep your space feeling calm, yet personal. 2. Unnecessary kitchen gadgets and small appliances. In the kitchen, it's easy for unused gadgets and appliances to pile up. You may have a juicer, blender, air fryer, slow cooker, waffle maker, and rice cooker. All great when they're useful, but when they're not actively used, they can just take up precious counter or cabinet space. These kitchen items, when they accumulate, can make your kitchen look cluttered, disorganized, and harder to navigate. In smaller spaces especially, too many appliances can also lead to an overloaded pantry or cabinet, leaving you scrambling to find what you actually need. As convenient as these appliances might be, they can add a layer of unnecessary complexity to your daily routines. The fix. Start by going through your kitchen gadgets and small appliances one by one. If you haven't used something in the past 6 months to a year, it's likely time to let go of it. Consider donating or selling the items that are still in good condition but no longer serve you. To save space in the kitchen, limit yourself to a few multifunctional appliances, such as a blender that doubles as a food processor or an instant pot that serves several cooking purposes. You don't need a dozen separate tools when one can work well for multiple tasks. Think about storing items you do use regularly in an organized way to keep your countertops clear. Keep the essentials accessible but away from view, such as using cabinet organizers or pull-out drawers to maximize space. A tidier, more organized kitchen will be easier to maintain, and you'll find it's more enjoyable to cook and entertain in. If you found these tips helpful, please make sure to like this video, comment below with any tips you have for decluttering or questions you might have, and don't forget to subscribe for more advice on how to make your home and life more enjoyable. I'm here to help guide you through every stage of life. Also, don't forget to sign up for my newsletter in the description below, where I share even more helpful advice and tips for living your best life. Stay tuned for more videos. See you next time.